Danger lay ahead. Now for our plan, giggled the cars. Go faster, go faster. They pushed Thomas over the switches. Slow down, called Thomas's driver, and applied the brakes. Poor Thomas stood dazed and surprised in a muddy pond as a toad eyed him suspiciously. Bust my buffers, muttered Thomas. The day started so well, too.
The special train. It was time for the photographs. Everyone was excited. The fat controller was waiting on the platform for his trousers. They were in a trunk amongst a big load of baggage. The porters were taking the baggage trolley across the line. They were walking backwards to see that nothing fell off. Percy was still being cheeky. His driver always shut off steam just outside the station. Percy wanted to surprise the coaches by coming in as quietly as he could. But the porters didn't hear him either. Boxes and bags burst everywhere. "Oh!" groaned Percy. Sticky streams of jam trickled down Percy's face. A top hat hung on his lamp iron. Worst of all, a pair of trousers coiled lovingly round his funnel. Everyone was very angry. The fat controller seized the top hat. "Mine," he said. "Percy, look at this." "Yes, sir, I am, sir." "My best trousers, too." "Yes, sir. Please, sir." "We must pay the passengers for their spoiled clothes. And my trousers are ruined. I hope this will teach you not to play tricks with the coaches."
But when Henry reached the coastal track, his hopes for a fast run were dashed. Fog floated everywhere. "I can't see," cried Henry, nor could his driver. And when he could, it was too late.
The fireman went to throw the switch. Now for my plan, thought Thomas. Bumping the cars fiercely, he jerked his driver off the footplate and followed them into the siding. "Come back!" yelled his driver. "Fire and smoke," said Thomas. "I'm sunk." And he was. "Oh dear," he said, "I am a silly engine." "And a very naughty one, too. I saw you," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Please get me out. I won't do it again." "I'm not sure. We can't lift you out with a crane. The ground's not firm enough." Let me see. I wonder if Gordon could pull you out." "Yes, sir," said Thomas, but he didn't want to meet Gordon just yet.
Peter Sam duly waited at the bottom of the slope for the loaded trucks. He never bumped trucks unless they misbehaved, but the loaded trucks couldn't see him properly. They thought he was Sir Handel. The chance for trickery had come. "Faster! Faster!" they yelled. "No, no!" wailed the empty trucks. "It's Peter Sam." But it was no use. "Hurrah! Hurrah!" roared the trucks. Peter Sam shut his eyes. "Beep, beep," wailed Peter Sam. Rusty was working nearby and came to help clear up the mess. Bless my buffers, exclaimed Rusty. Never mind, Peter Sam, we'll get you out.
The rails were slippery. He couldn't stop in time. Donald wasn't hurt, but Sir Topham Hatt was most annoyed. I am disappointed, Donald. I didn't expect such clumsiness from you. I had decided to send Douglas back and keep you. I'm sorry, sir, said Donald. I should think so, too. You have upset my arrangements. Now, James will have to help with the goods work while you have your tender mended. James won't like that.
Fuera de mi camino, locomotora inútil. Eres demasiado lento para ser realmente un... Oh, Stephen, tú me salvaste y a mis pasajeros. Yo...
Te está dando las gracias, Stephen.
Bumpy. Thomas bumped and jumped, the books jiggled and joggled. Then Thomas hit the biggest bump of all.
Whoa! Cinders and ashes!
The trucks bounced high in the air. They crashed and bashed, they clattered and shattered down to the tracks. Thomas put on his brakes. The books flew high and wide through the air and landed all over Farmer McCall's field.
Thomas grew more and more excited. Too excited for his own good. I'm glad I'm a splendid engine, he puffed. The Fat Controller thinks I'm really useful. I had a race with Bertie once. I whooshed through the tunnel and stopped an inch from the buffers. Then Thomas made his mistake. Just like this, he boasted. No one was hurt, but Thomas's front was badly bent.
Harvey went faster and faster as he hurried down the slope with the heavy train pushing him forward.
Pulling a heavy train downhill is much easier than I thought.
But when Harvey reached the next bend, he suddenly realized that he was going much too fast to be safe. Luckily, nobody was hurt.
One, two, three.
Yes! Oh no! Look out!
Rocky!
Oh, dear.
Fizzling fireboxes! Rocky, are you okay?
Oh, I'll be fine.
No, it wasn't Ace! It was... Wow! Thomas, what a ride! Woo! We should have stayed.
Suddenly, the signal turned red. James applied his brakes and screeched to a halt. But Edward couldn't stop in time. Sorry, puffed Edward. I didn't have time to stop. Don't worry, moaned James. It was my fault for pushing in. You're finally in a poster, chuckled Thomas. Maybe you are good enough after all. But James didn't feel very good. He felt very silly. Down the hill, Thomas was out of control. Thomas braked as hard as he could, but the fish trucks were too heavy. Oops, said Thomas. Sorry. Salty was covered in fish. Never mind me, Artie, said Salty. The smell reminds me of the sea.
Crash. It's up to you now, Duck, cried the driver. Duck put every ounce of weight and steam against the cars. It's too late, Duck groaned and shut his eyes. He veered into a siding where a barber had set up shop. He was shaving a customer. The silly cars had knocked their conductor off his van and left him far behind after he had whistled a warning. But the cars didn't care. They were feeling very pleased with themselves. Beg pardon, sir, gasped Duck. Excuse my intrusion. No, I won't, said the barber. You frighten my customers. I'll teach you. And he lathered Duck's face all over. Poor Duck.
I said it was easy. I said it was easy.
Then everything happened at once.
Rex! Rex! Watch out! Slow down! Stop! Stop!
Listen to me. You always do what you want.
Nay, true. You never listen to me. You always do what you want.
Nay, true.
It is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
And then there was trouble.
Oh, no!
You do? Donnie, are we still moving? Or is it... Oh, no! The train!
Then there was trouble. As Gordon approached the new station, neither the driver nor fireman could apply his brakes. Something had jammed. The driver reduced steam, but Gordon was still going too fast.
Help me, please.
The branch line couldn't take his weight and the rails buckled. "Oh, help!" Gordon cried as he slid off the tracks and into a field. No one was hurt, but poor Gordon felt very undignified. "What will the Fat Controller say?" he groaned. When he approached the chocolate factory, his driver applied the brakes, but Percy's wheels just skidded on the oily rails. "Oh no!" hooted Percy. "Yuck!" he groaned. "I've never been this dirty." He was covered from funnel to firebox in sticky, gooey chocolate.
What we need is speed and spin. Back up and watch the rescue.
So James backed up, Toby backed up, and Gordon waited. Then James pumped his pistons, his boiler bubbled, and his firebox fizzed.
Rescue engine to the ready!
James roared and raced down the track. He hit Gordon's buffer with a biff and a bash and a terrible smash. Gordon the Grand had toppled off the track into the muddy fen, and James the rescue engine had splished and sploshed into the mud after him. At the yards, Percy was collecting trucks. Then he heard Boulder. "Oh no, it's heading straight for me!"
But Thomas didn't want to listen. He was too cross. He kept thinking about what was on the other side of the mountain. And he wasn't looking where he was going.
No! Thomas! Watch out!
I can't stop!
Luckily, nobody was hurt.
A goods train was waiting in the siding to let the flying kipper pass, and the driver and fireman were drinking cocoa in the brake van. "The kipper is due," said the guard. "Who cares?" said the fireman. "This is good cocoa." The driver got up. "Come on, fireman, back to our engine." They got out just in time. Henry's driver and fireman had jumped clear before the crash, but Henry lay dazed and surprised. The fat controller came to see him. "The signal was down, sir," said Henry. "Cheer up, Henry, it wasn't your fault. Ice and snow caused the accident. I'm sending you to Crewe, a fine place for sick engines. They'll give you a new shape and a larger firebox. You'll feel a different engine and won't need special coal anymore. Won't that be nice?" "Yes, sir," said Henry doubtfully.
One day, Henry was pulling a very important goods train on his way to the mainland.
Faster! Faster! Hurry up, Henry! We haven't got all day!
A faulty signal should have warned Henry there was another goods train stuck on the track up ahead. Then, everything happened at once. Poor Henry wouldn't be going to the mainland now.
I think so. How's my paint looking? I'm really in trouble now.
Ned was still dreaming of knocking buildings down and wasn't watching where he was going. "Look out!" cried his operator. But it was too late. The chimney rocked, the bricks crumbled, the workmen and the foreman took cover. Oliver and Thomas watched in amazement.
Edward was right. Cars can run an engine right off the rails.
Oh!
Stay right there, James. I'll go and get help.
Thomas didn't realize that the men were trying to flag him down, and he didn't see the danger signs.
Look out! You can't let down here!